6 News First Alert Weather, certified most accurate 5 years in a row.
From WOWT6, this is Heartland Focus.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome to Heartland Focus. I'm your guest, right? I'm your host, Tim Clark. My guest will be Doris Lassinger. She's going to be talking about COVID-19. We're going to have a conversation just about really myths, facts, and really where we're at right now in terms of just with these variants and what should we be doing. I think more important is really providing vehicles for you to make a informed decision, right? Because at the end of the day, it is your choice. It's your body, it's your health, it's your family. And I think our job is really how do we help keep and increase awareness of information and help educate people. But I first want to talk a little bit about what's happening at Metro Community College. September 7th is the start of our quarter, and really want to if there's so many opportunities in front of us as a country, as we spin out of this crisis, this pandemic, and really trying to build back better or really invest in infrastructure. I feel COVID-19 really, it shined the light on a whole bunch of deficiencies and things that we got caught with our pants down, right? We just got caught in terms of in the ways of technology, in the ways of manufacturing, in the ways of infrastructure. So we're dealing with a whole lot. And so I just want to, as you're looking at, recalibrating or hitting that reset button, this is a great time to look at how do you skill up to get your money up in order to get your careers up. And so, and moving from a job to career, I believe we're not moving to a skill-based society. We are. And so if you're going to choose to go get a 4-year college degree or a 2-year associate degree, if I was you, I would focus on skill. What is that skill that's going to allow you to earn the wages that you need so you can have a life of your choice where you can choose where you want to live, work, and play. But I think it's got to be driven by skill versus, well, I'm just going to get a degree in business administration. Me personally, I just don't think that's enough. It's a start. People are looking for employees that are ready to go, shovel ready. You have a skill, you have value for value, you can come in there and get a skill. And some of these skills, you have it on the screen there, but some of them are 10 months or less. Some of them are less time than that. Where if you really look at our workforce innovation department, sometimes it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and it's non-credit. You just need that skill so you can get your money up, so you can job up. Industries are looking for people that have proven skills to do the work and bottom line. And so what we try to do in Metro is really match skill to industry in that whole thing of job readiness. I want to invite my guest on, Doris. Doris, welcome to Heartland Focus.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love having you. I love having you on because you talk just as much as me in terms of just we have so much to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
And so I don't even want to waste no time. So really, why don't you just bring us up to speed in terms of some of your efforts around awareness, education, and in some cases intervention.
Yeah.
Around this COVID, this hideous virus that we're calling COVID-19. Now we have this variant, the Delta.
Yes, indeed.
First
of all,
to us.
thank you for having me on. I appreciate being one of your guests today. And as we began to look at the work that this whole community has been involved with, my work has predominantly, as you know, been with the faith-based community and with the churches. And the churches have a special role, and they have a special need to keep their congregations safe. And so we have been working with two partners, actually three: Douglas County Health Department, Creighton University, and now Charles Drew Community Health Center. And how are we partnering with the churches? What's a good partnership? What does that look like? What do we do? And so we've come with the conclusion that in order for us to mitigate COVID, you have to involve lots of people. And the churches have a strong stake in this effort. We don't have to outreach. We can in-reach and reach more people. We know who the members are. We have begun the process of identifying who's been vaccinated in our church, different policies and procedures. So when we started this process with Douglas County Health Department, we looked at the problem. What's the issue? And of course, I'm a data person. What are the numbers? Show me the numbers.
Show me the numbers.
Show me the numbers. And we started out with, actually, as you know, the COVID.
We have the dashboard up. You can keep talking, but talk to
we
what you see there.
were talking about the COVID testing. Just first of all, who was tested? And what we want to do is, if you go to the slide to show the number of deaths in Douglas County, we've had 741 deaths. Well, I wanted to know, okay, we've had these deaths. How many people are vaccinated by race? So you might not be able to see it on the screen here, but today, as of today, it showed that 52.6% of our white population in Douglas County had been vaccinated. And then Native Americans, 46.9%, Hispanic, Latino, 42.0%, Blacks, only 33.6%, and this is unacceptable.
Why is that? I mean, we keep. I know we say it's unacceptable, but I know I have to commend the people who are doing work to really help with that. But I mean, we keep chasing that. Doris.
The myths are still out there. For one, Tim, the myths about I don't trust the healthcare system.
Right.
I don't trust the numbers. I don't trust this.
Is that real, or is it just
No.
I mean,
there's some validity.
I want to be fair.
No, there's some validity to not trusting the healthcare system as a result of their beliefs of what happened many years ago. We know about the Tuskegee.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well that was then, and we appreciate that. We have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But we also have to acknowledge a solution, and the solution is the vaccine. That was the past, but the solution for our future, if we want to have one, we need to get the vaccine, right? But we also have to respect folks when they say, well, I don't know, that was quickly done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and thank God it was quickly done, because
it would have been a whole lot more people. Not around to even have a conversation.
Right. And it appears that way. But this is not new. They've been working on this virus. I mean, even in 1970, some parts of this testing, some parts of the vaccine was already in the making.
Yeah.
And it's just that instead of having to wait 3 years to get your funding, all this money was put together to address this issue right away. The other myth we've heard is that if you get a COVID vaccine, it will give you COVID. That's not true. That's a myth, because there's no COVID virus in the vaccine. So there was a concern about that, concern about pregnant women. So I don't know if I want to get that because how it might infect my baby. Now CDC has said that it's safe for all pregnant women to get the vaccine, right? So here's the issue now. When we get through the myths, and we've had town halls, church town halls. I've worked with over 50 churches, training community health ambassadors and paying them stipends to get the message out to their congregation members. But here's the deal, Tim. This Delta variant, is coming through even if you have been vaccinated. Okay?
Okay.
That's the problem we're facing right now. So where we began to open up a little bit, you know, I would come in
So
here.
it's more aggressive? I mean,
quite
are we
aggressive.
finding that the Delta is more aggressive than just
Yes.
the regular
Yeah,
COVID-19?
according to Dr. Fauci, yes. And as we've seen, that it is affecting our children.
Okay.
Now that's a problem because our children at the time did not have a vaccine.
That's right.
Under 12. And I'm so glad our school district, in its wisdom, Omaha Public School District, in its wisdom has decided that our children should wear masks.
Yeah.
And the teachers should wear masks.
But there's a lot of folks out there that disagree with that.
Well, yes.
I mean, are we taking away freedom of choice and that you know of taking away the parents' right to say, hey, my kid is going to wear a mask or my kid will not?
Well,
how do we deal with that?
How did we deal with the vaccines now that the kids are required to have before they go to school?
Okay.
How are we dealing? We've dealt with that before. Here's the deal for me. It doesn't matter whether the governor mandates. What is your family's vaccine policy? What is your policy?
Yeah.
I don't need the governor to tell me I can or cannot wear a mask. That's my choice to wear the mask. I don't need a mandate for
Yeah.
it. So you take it the opposite way. What's my family's decision?
Yeah.
And my family, I'm going to say this to my family and my friends. If you have not been vaccinated, my choice is not to be around someone who has not been
And that's a
vaccinated.
choice, right.
And that's my choice. And my family's choice. And you won't get that dinner either. But we have to be very careful in our churches and in large gatherings.
So you choose who you're going to invite and let in your home based on them being vaccinated or not.
Yes, and that includes repair people, wear a mask and so forth. There was a repairman who came in and he said, I haven't had my vaccine and I don't really want to wear a mask. I said, well, you can't come in and you can't be around my dog either.
Wow.
And so,
and we're going to take a break, Doris. I want to pick up from there after we come back because I know it's a choice thing, and you're laying that out very well. But the thing is this: I have a problem when you come in my environment, and a good choice is if it only affects you. That I'm okay with your choice. But when you choose to affect me, based on your practices and your beliefs, we got some problem, Houston. We got some problem. I want you to pick up. I want your take on that. We're gonna when we come back. We're gonna continue our conversation around this variant, very aggressive variant, Delta, and talk about really facts versus fiction, and really what should you be doing as it relates to educating up so you can make a good decision. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hey, Doris. Hey, welcome back, folks. I'm here with Doris Lassiter. What's the name of your company?
Doris Lassiter Consulting, but my project that I'm working is Nebraska Center for Healthy Families. We've been around for a number of years now.
Okay. Well, hey, I want to jump right in. And so when you think about the myths and the just the non-facts that's out there, people, I hear often is, okay, well, this thing is not proven in terms of black people or people of color, Latino, ethnic minorities. They wasn't enrolled in the studies. So what is that?
Okay, here's the fact. There were over 30,000 people enrolled, people of color, enrolled in the trials. No one talks about the number of people enrolled in the trials, especially Pfizer. They had 44,000 participants.
Okay.
And you know what, Tim?
Or some black folks?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying, this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
They were, 42% came from racial and ethnic minority people.
Okay.
All right, so we know that. But also, to what I was impressed by is that there were a group of the medical schools, Meharry, others, Morehouse was involved with it. They were providing like an overview. They were checking it and saying, okay, we're not going to get caught off this time. And so I was pleased to see those four predominantly black medical schools involved with this process.
Yeah.
And so it's like a stamp of approval.
And
getting that involved. There are so many myths out there. So many. But the most important is that I'm seeing these young African-American men who say, "You look, I'm fine, I'm well,
I'm strong
I don't have to get
healthy."
the vaccine." But you know what? And we've seen the difference. We've seen that they can come down and they can be on the respirator. And right now,
Yeah, personally, I have friends that have done that.
yeah. And Tim, the fact of the matter is that as we see across this nation, the number of hospital beds that are lacking for people who need to go in for even some cardiovascular treatment.
That's right.
Or not just elective surgery, but something that's really needed.
Yeah.
There may not be any beds there. Look what's happening in Mississippi.
that's
Look what's happening in
right.
Tennessee and the other places. And what's concerning is as this is going on when all this other debate is going on, or
Yeah.
whether you should or should not get the vaccine, whether you should or should not wear a mask, to the point that I saw that very disturbed me. And this is then it becomes a mental situation when you see people who are disagreeing with one another coming up after school board meetings telling others to take off their masks. Now, that didn't happen here in Omaha.
Yeah.
Thank God. But can you imagine?
How you gonna tell somebody to
take off their
mask?
masks. That's how passionate some of the folks are about being told that they should or should not wear
Yeah.
a mask for the safety of themselves and their children. And so that's very concerning to a lot of us. And so we have to be a little bit more proactive with that.
No, your thoughts around, and I know we don't have enough time, but I'm gonna try to get your response on a few things, and we're gonna like we're speed dating a little bit. So in terms of just when you think about school, right? So they're mandating masks. This whole idea of should I take it or should I not take it? What is your thoughts around in terms of, there's still people out there we know that they're saying, I have friends that have moved from not taking it to they've taken it. And you know why they took it? They said, not for me, I took it for you. And I took it for my grandkids.
Well, our numbers aren't showing exactly that. When you see still 33% of black people, they're not moving the way they need to be moving to get the vaccine, as far as I'm concerned. Now, there's a major issue there. And I think some of the issue started very early on with being able to the registration process, the where are you in line?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
I heard a lot of them just say, I'm gonna wait. I don't want them to practice on me. They almost like this is a trial. And I'm like, let me see, Doris, let's see how you react to it.
Well, when I first, I wanted to get it immediately because
Me
you
too.
begin to do your own research. And why it's important now for those who didn't get the vaccine, and now you have Delta variant. And so there's a certain amount of responsibility, yes, but you have a certain responsibility to yourself, to your neighbors, to your family, to this community.
That's right.
And we have to be realistic about that. And for those who do not, you need to wear a mask. We still have to wash our hands. We have to go back into, and it's hard. It's hard. Once you start taking the mask off and you feel a little free,
I know,
it's hard to
I
go
know.
back in, right?
Yeah.
We have to start physically distancing ourselves again from large community events. Everybody wants to be outside, and of course, I'm going to play golf, and I love to be outside.
Yeah.
That's the only.
So you
normalcy.
really think, because today, I'm going to the Garth Brooks concert tonight, and I mean,
Wear your mask.
I've been vaccinated, so So what's your response to people that you know that, or you don't know that they've been vaccinated, and they come up and you find out that they don't have any vaccination, or they're walking in your environment and it's like, they're not vaccinated, but they're acting like nothing. They're like,
Tim, the only thing you can do is explain and say, you know what? Just to be on the safe side, have you been vaccinated? I haven't. I've been vaccinated.
So it's okay to ask the question.
It's your life. You've got to protect yourself.
That's true, and I don't want to catch it.
And I don't want to get it, and especially, and folks who have who've had transplants and who are having situations with pulmonary issues and things like that. But it's okay to ask. It's like we need to have a social courtesy rule to how do you ask somebody
Yeah.
if you've had the vaccine and, how you say.
And have some masks right there if you say no.
Well, let me give you an example. In our own church at Mount Moriah
Okay.
Baptist Church, we changed our policies so that when we opened back up somewhat, that obviously we had social distancing of the pews.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
other pew ends and so forth. So, and then people come in, we ask the question, have you been vaccinated? We need to see the vaccination card. We write it down, okay? We have that right legally to ask that question, and we can write the information down. For those who have not been vaccinated, we ask them, here's a mask, and here's where you can sit.
And keep your own mask on.
And keep the mask on at all times. So obviously, you know, people were a little startled at first, but we explain.
I think
we
that's
want our
good.
congregation
I think that's
to
good,
feel
really
safe.
good policy.
And we've not had any problems with that policy.
Yes, so if you choose not to get vaccinated, that comes with a certain level of responsibility, I'm hearing. And so I'm thinking maybe we do, this is my opinion, that we should move to, if you don't have the vaccination, there should be a set of rules and behaviors that we should expect of you. And you shouldn't walk into a meeting and knowing that you don't have no cover in terms of vaccination and act as if you do.
That's right.
It's wrong.
Well, yeah, and it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening when you go to public meetings, when you go to the county, to the city council meetings, with the county board
That's
meetings.
right.
And people sit right up front, and you can obviously, and you know, and yes, that's their right. That's their right, but you don't have a right to get into my space.
That's right.
Okay.
Because it's contagious and it will spread. So what your right is to protect yourself, and it's my right to protect me. And so if you're in my environment, you're affecting me, and it becomes risk. When we come back, we're going to take a short break. I want you to give some action steps.
Okay.
How can our viewers help? What can they do to be proactive? And really, in light of those numbers you shared, Doris, we had to put game on and put our arms around how do we increase the number of African Americans taking this vaccine.
Yes,
Okay.
I'd be happy to.
Okay. So, hey, when we come back, our guests will share with some tips and some thoughts about what can you do to help us increase these numbers in the Heartland, particularly Douglas County, of getting more people vaccinated. We'll be right back. Doris, welcome back, you guys. But I want to jump right in. I'm healthy. I work out every day. I don't need no vaccine. What do you say to people?
I'm saying you do need a vaccine because what we've seen, for those who've done that we've seen them later on respirators, okay? Especially young African-American men who, for whatever reason, decide that they don't want to get the vaccine. But here's the deal. It's the lingering effects once you do get the COVID.
So it's not so much now.
But later on,
Okay.
it was, pain and joint issues and things early on for those who've gotten the COVID, the lingers, we've got to work
So
with
you don't
that.
want to get that. So don't get it.
Don't get it.
Okay, so what's
so prevent it. So the
Okay.
prevention is getting the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
You can't say that it's costing me money, but your life is most important.
That's right.
The other thing is that this pandemic, we weren't prepared. You said we got caught with our pants down or whatever.
Absolutely.
We got caught in another situation where is that our data wasn't ready. We didn't know what was going on in our own community. We didn't have the data at the time by race.
Yeah.
We have to have the data by race. We have to make sure that the state data is by race.
Why
our
is that
county
important?
rated by race, because how do you know how many hospital beds you have? You can see the trends, what's
Yeah.
going on. Shouldn't that affect you? We should tell our own story. And we should be
Population.
involved in anything dealing with health equity.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is an
so you can be a
equitable
little bit more
situation.
targeted and more intentional in terms of those populations and communities that are most vulnerable
Yes,
and need more
that's
help.
correct. That's correct. And we need to be on the decision making and the planning of our local efforts, from the very beginning.
Okay.
In any future pandemic, any emergency crisis, we have to be well prepared, and that means getting some folks in who are people of color and women and others involved in that process.
On the front end.
On the front end.
So what I got 30 seconds. What do you leave them with? How do you leave
I'm
them? What do you want to
say,
leave our audience with,
Please,
Doris?
for those who have not received your vaccine, you can go to Charles Drew Community Health Center.
Yeah.
Charles Drew with clinics to get the testing. And for those who don't have a medical home,
Yeah.
you need to go to Charles
So
Drew to find to get a
important.
medical home or any clinic of your choice. But to identify, have a relationship with your doctor, because you know doctors are going to be able to start doing this now. They're not
That's
going
right.
to have to be special clinics.
Right on.
So,
right. Well, thank you so much for the work you do to make a difference and on the prevention and intervention.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate
making
you.
a difference. Hey, I wish I had more time. That's all for this episode, Heartland Focus. Today, do what it takes to be safe and be in hot pursuit of remaining healthy. Do your dance to your beat. Don't let nobody tell you how to move or groove. Give somebody a hug. Maybe from afar right now, it could be an air hug, but we need to still feel that love and that touch. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Until next time, take the time to be good to yourself. It makes it so much easier to take care of others if you take care of yourself. I'm out.